Okay, today we're going to work on the chemical equation and counting atoms that are in the chemical equation. So this is all review for what we did in class. So we're going to start off with the chemical equation. It's going to be 2C3H8. So carbon and hydrogen as our elements inside the chemical equation. We have a 2, a 3, and 8. Before we count the atoms, let's discuss what each of these numbers mean. The big number up front, this is our coefficient. This means we have two sets of this. So if I have these two molecules, they would look like this. Actually, I'm not going to draw them out. We have 3 carbons and 8 hydrogens, two sets of those. Right? These small numbers is how many atoms we have of that element. So we have 3 carbons and 8 hydrogens, but remember we have two sets. So when we work with these problems, first thing I want you to do is list the unique elements below. Have carbon and hydrogen. Put carbon right here and hydrogen right there. Great. Now that we have them listed down there, we're going to see, is there any letters or any elements that have no numbers? If they have no numbers, we're going to put an imaginary 1 because it's still a variable and it still has 1 there. If it didn't have 1, we wouldn't see it at all. All right, next thing I want to do is figure out, is there a coefficient? The big number up front. This is how many of these sets we have. I have a 2. So what I'm going to do is put 2 right here and a 2 right here. Cute 2s. Now I have 3 carbons and 8 hydrogens. So what I'm going to do is, since there's two sets, I can take 2 multiplied by 3. 2 times 3 for carbon, which means I have a total of 6 carbons. For hydrogen, I have 8. So 2 times 8, which means I have 2 times 8 is 16 hydrogens. So in this chemical equation, I have 2 molecules, a total of 6 carbons, a total of 16 hydrogens. The next equation we're going to do, we're going to have these brackets right here. These brackets are going to introduce something new to us. No, it's not new. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to work on another problem. This time we have brackets. These brackets, if you remember beforehand, means that everything on these subscripts gets distributed. So let's work on this problem. We have NH4 within brackets, a 2, a CO, and a 3. Now, do we have a coefficient up front? We do not have a coefficient up front, so that means this is just one molecule. All right, now I want to list my unique elements going up and down. Start off with nitrogen. I have a hydrogen, a carbon, and oxygen. Okay. Now, since I don't have a coefficient, I don't have to worry about that right now. But I'm going to look at each element and see, do I have one that's missing numbers? If I'm missing numbers, I need to put an imaginary 1 because that variable is just by itself. Just like in math class, if you have x by itself, it's still there. It's just 1x. So I'm going to start off with this nitrogen. I have 1 here. So I'm going to put a 1 right here. But I have this subscript right here. This subscript gets distributed to this 1 also. That 2 goes to here and to there. It belongs to them all. So that 1 multiplied by that 2. Okay. Now I have this hydrogen. I have this 4 right there. A subscript of 4. So I have 4 hydrogens. I also have this 2. So 2 sets of those 4 hydrogens. 4 times 2. Okay, let's look at carbon. Carbon didn't have a number down there, so we put an imaginary 1. Oxygen, we have 3. Let's do our math. Nitrogen, 1 times 2 is 2. Hydrogen, 4 times 2 is 8. So our total number of nitrogen atoms in this molecule is 2. Total number of hydrogen atoms in this molecule is 8. Total number of carbon is 1. Total number of oxygen is 3. So I have one complete molecule, 2, 8, 1, and 3. Let's work on another one. All right, so our next problem is, we have to think of sure, C6H12O6, and this time we have a 4 up front. So again, let's review it. The 4, the big number up front, is our coefficient, which means we have 4 sets of this molecule. The small numbers are subscripts, so we have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 6 oxygens. Let's go ahead and count how many atoms we have of each. We start off by writing our unique elements down below. I have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Now I'm going to start off my coefficient. If I have a big number up front, I'm going to write that big number for each one of these. I have a 4 here, 4 here, and a 4 here. Now look, do I have any elements that do not have a number there? If they don't have a number, I need to fill them with an imaginary 1. I do not. They all have numbers there. Great. So I'm going to take this carbon. Look, I have 6 here. I have 4 times 6. This hydrogen, I have 12. So 4 times 12. Oxygen, I have 6. So 4 times 6. All right, so let's see here. 4 times 6 is going to be 20. 4 times 12 is going to be 48. Had a brain fart there. And 4 times 6 is 24. All right, so we have 4 molecules or 4 sets of this sugar. Individually, we have 24 carbons. We have 48 hydrogens, and oxygen is 24. Now, we can't just look at the numbers on the bottom here. We have to look at the whole picture. Because if I say, hey, I have 12, well, I have more than 12, I have to take all these pieces in there. All right, let's do one last one. We're going to last problem here. Then we're going to do the last problem before you move on to your next assignment. This one's going to be a little bit different than the others. We're going to make it a little bit more challenging. We're going to start off with sugar, which is C6H12O6. Then we're also going to add 6 O2s, 6 diatomic oxygens. Okay, so this is going to follow the same premise, but now we're going to take how many atoms do we have total? So not just one molecule, but what about more than one? We're going to follow the same strategy. First thing I'm going to do is list each unique element. So I have a carbon here. I have a hydrogen. And I have an oxygen. I also have an oxygen here, but I've already written it once, so we don't want to write it again. Remember, just each unique element. Okay, now let's go ahead and start with this molecule. When we do these like this, I work one molecule at a time. So don't do this one and this one together. Do this one, then add this one. Okay, so I have carbon. I have 6 carbons. I don't have a number up front, so I don't have any coefficients, so I'm good. There's just one molecule. I have 12 hydrogens and 6 oxygens. All right, so this one is done. Now let's work on this set. I have a coefficient up here, so I have 6 sets of these. What I don't want you to do, because this is the big thing people do, like, oh, there's a 6, I'm going to multiply by 6. No, 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 no. Don't do that. That's wrong. I didn't even mess up my board there. That'd be a little easier to see it that way. Okay, so don't do the multiplication. Instead, we're going to add. Okay, see this little plus here? It means we're adding these 2 molecules together. So we're going to add this 6 multiplied by that 2. These 2 get multiplied. So 6 times 2. Sorry, it's kind of smeared right there now. It'll be fine. So we're going to add these to that one. It's not 6 times 6 times 2, but 6 plus 6 times 2. All right, so we have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens. Those are so hard. Last one, 6 plus 6 times 2. So 6 times 2 first, so that's 12, plus 6 more equals 18. So at the end, we have 1 molecule of this sugar and 6 molecules of this oxygen. In total, we have 6 carbons, we have 12 hydrogens, and 18 total oxygens. All right, so now that we finished this part, you're going to finish the assignment, you're going to open up MasteryPass, and you'll see your next assignment that'll be available for you.